Hello, everyone. My name is Avihu Levy. I'm head of product at Startx. And today I want to tell you about how we can help you scale your NFTs on Ethereum. So a little bit about us. Startx, we're a team of a little bit more than 30. We're based in Israel. We've raised $40 million in funding, so equity and a very generous grant from the Ethereum Foundation. Our mission is to bring scalability and privacy to blockchains, and we develop a technology that is called zero-knowledge proofs to do that. And our first product, Startx, is doing exactly that. It's a scalability engine on top of Ethereum. More on that in a couple of minutes. So I want to start by stating the starting point, or in other words, what do I think you think? So I think we all agree that NFTs are interesting, that they provide a growth opportunity. We all think that there are going to be billions and billions of NFTs, all kind of shape and colors. And we also think that the key feature of NFTs is this of digital ownership and scarcity, written right here. Digital ownership meaning that only the rightful owner is able to trade, transfer his asset. And scarcity means that there are fixed rules, how assets are being generated, how they are being destroyed, and so on. And it's this key feature that led us to talk about NFTs with blockchains. And when we think about the ideal blockchains for NFT, what do we have in mind? So first of all, we want definitely support two basic operations. Those operations are minting and trading. And we also care about three qualities in particular. So the first one, the qualities that we care of are immutability, network effect, and scalability. By immutability, we mean the very strong guarantee on the digital ownership and scarcity. Network effect means that we want many developers developing many wallets, other better tooling, more open markets, more liquidity, and so on. And we definitely care about scalability because, well, if we want billions of assets and we want to trade them, then we need a strong infrastructure to do exactly that. Unfortunately, as most of you probably already know, we have a problem. And this problem related to those two operations, minting and trading, because when you do minting or when you trade on chain, you actually change storage or you write to storage. And as we all know, storage is a very limited resource on blockchains today. So that's what limits us when we want to get to many, many assets. And then we can all agree that the main problem of public blockchains today is scalability. So what do we do? Or actually, what do you do? Well, some of you probably just went over and continued and built their project on a public blockchain. So that actually, when you do that, you optimize for network effect. You have the strong security, the strong guarantee of immutability the network brings you, and you also have the ecosystem effect, so many developers and many tools. But if, God forbid, and your NFT is successful, well, then you hit the wall because there is no scale currently. And on the other side, some of you may tried or thought of trying the road of going into private blockchain. And well, it's somehow optimized for scale, but first you lose many, many years of hard work of hundreds or thousands of developers that built tools on public blockchains. And even more important, you lose the security and the immutability that you get in public blockchains otherwise. And well, whatever you get is somehow scalable, but still much less scalable than AWS. So we can all agree that the current approach is far from being ideal. So luckily, we developed Startx. And Startx is a scalability engine running on top of Ethereum. It's a second layer on top of Ethereum. And it's available today. The product is already a production grade. So when you build on Startx, when you trade on Startx, you can enjoy, your NFTs can enjoy the immutability and the network effect of Ethereum, but without a wall of scale. So you can enjoy very high scale, very high throughput using our engine. How high? So if we look a little bit on numbers, Our system can support today up to 10,000 trades per second. That's compared to 4 on Ethereum if you trade on the base layer. We can support the minting of billions of assets, and we can support actually a very interesting feature because we can support the trading of very low value assets. So basically, all assets that you didn't think that can be tradable because they worth, let's say, less than $1, then with our system, you can actually trade them at negligible cost, and therefore you're unlocking the long tail of NFTs. So I don't have much time, but I want to try and explain Startx in 5 minutes. I want to maybe, let's see if we can do that. So I'll start by talking a little bit about Stark being the secret sauce of Startx. So I'm going to start with a very simple question, which is how one can ensure that the computation is correct. Somebody told me, this is the result of a computation, and I want to know that he is right. So what do I do? Well, here's a naive approach. So here's an example. Nick done some computation, and he's telling Nora, well, I've done this computation, and this is my result. Let's say the result is 42. And now Nora wants to verify that Nick actually did the computation, and the result is indeed 42. So what Nora, the simplest thing that she can do is redo the computation again, right? And this, as we all know, is what blockchain is today. So one person generates a block, all other nodes in the network are just going to follow and redo the same computation. And we also know that this re-execution is not efficient and it scales poorly. And we want to change that. So it turns out there is a better way, and this better way includes proof systems. So with Startx, what you could do, let me present another character, and that is Pete the Prover. Pete the Prover, he knows to take Nick's computation and generate a proof to that computation. And generating the proof, you can see the wheels there. So generating the proof takes a little bit longer than the computation, but not much longer. And when the proof is generated, all other verifiers that you see here on the right side of the screen, they can verify the proof much faster than redoing the computation, right? So it's this feature that we use on blockchain where one entity generates a proof for every computation and all other entities just need to verify. And by doing so, the verification is much faster and you can actually support a computation that is much, much larger than what you're used to today on blockchain. So I'll just finish with a really short taste of how Startx works. So suppose, let's start with this really naive scenario where Alice wants to buy a snail and Bob has a snail for sale. So they both go to the marketplace. Alice wants to buy this snail for 5 ETH and Bob wants to sell it for this price. The marketplace is responsible to find the matching. So there is a match between Alice and Bob. And it sends a settlement, but this is an important point. It doesn't send the settlement directly to Ethereum. Instead, it sends it to Startx. And in Startx, we batch many of those settlements. You can think of 1,000 settlements in a single batch. And once we have a batch ready, we generate a proof that attesting to the validity of the computation of the entire batch. So if a batch is 1,000 transactions, this proof is going to be able to verify that each and every of those transactions is correct. The last part is we wrote smart contracts that exist on Ethereum that knows to verify a Stark proof. So when a proof is generated, it's being submitted on-chain to the Stark verifier. And at this point, the marketplace knows that the proof is correct, so that means that the batch is correct. So that means they can move to the new state that includes all these 1,000 trades. So notice what we did here. We used proof to enable the marketplace to process 1,000 transactions at the same time in a in much lower price than what it would otherwise take on Ethereum. And that's what gives us the ability to provide those amazing numbers. So as I mentioned, Startx is production grade, is coming to mainnet as we speak. And we are here, we are around here all day. Come talk to us. Definitely if you want to scale your NFTs on Ethereum or any other public blockchain. But also if you care about randomness in your game, if you care about sealed bid auctions, if you care about proving some general logic in your game, come talk to us. Thank you very much.